What's going on, guys and girls? It's Zach from SwitchForce. This will be a very short video because I am just aghast that something cool happened with Nintendo. An update occurred, something developed, and we have new details and information as we wait for April 2nd. So hit that like button if you're excited for something Nintendo happening. Basically, there's an FCC filing that has us strongly believing that Nintendo is preparing to announce GameCube NSO. And this makes a lot of sense because GameCube NSO has been kind of thought about, rumored for a long time. And as recently as last year, there were some shipments of some controllers that seemed to be lining up with GameCube controllers. And so a bunch of people were thinking like, hey, maybe Nintendo will, during their September Direct, announce GameCube NSO, and then nothing happened around GameCube or really anything big with NSO. It seemed like Nintendo was instead opting to save everything NSO related in terms of major updates or substantial improvements for the Switch 2, which makes a lot of sense. But now that we're approaching D-Day for Switch 2, or just like Great Day for Switch 2, April 2nd, we've got this FCC filing where Nintendo is talking about a controller. But there are two pieces of info about this controller that, despite Nintendo's best efforts to obscure this and make it all sneaky and secret, it seems pretty obvious what it is. So first off, this FCC filing has BEE 021, and BEE is what we believe the Switch 2 prefix is. So Switch 1 was HAC, it seems like Switch 2 is BEE. Therefore, this is indicating some Switch 2 exclusive controller. And I very much believe if Nintendo is going to unveil GameCube for NSO, it will be a Switch 2 exclusive as a means to get you to buy the Switch 2 and to carry over your Switch Online membership to the Switch 2. Also, the Switch 2 is much more powerful, so things like GameCube, while doable on Switch 1, should be even easier and perform even better on Switch 2. But it's actually this big rectangle that is the biggest earmark of this being GameCube NSO, or at least a GameCube controller of some sort. Nintendo is showing a very obfuscated, very non-specific image of where the label would go. But if you overlay it with the back of a GameCube controller, you can see that the label goes right there. Now, how many Nintendo controllers have a label right there? How many Nintendo controllers even have a jutting out piece right there because of how the GameCube controller is formed? And this all just makes a lot of sense. Like, where does Nintendo go next with Switch Online? Maybe they go with more DLC, but that's going to be a bit difficult, especially because Switch 2 games are just going to be first releasing. It's not like they can do a Mario Kart 9 course booster pass right out the gates on Switch Online. But what could they do right out the gates? A better freaking eShop. B, some downloadable themes for our Switch home UI. And C, GameCube, right? They've got GBA, they've got GBC, they've got SNES, NES, N64, some Sega systems, etc. The next logical step is, DS games would be cool, but GameCube is, I think, probably more desirable right now and probably easier to implement. So I think GameCube would be a great way to start off the Switch 2 and help establish Switch Online as a must-have for Switch 2 buyers, both converting from Switch 1 and new to the Switch ecosystem, and also a great way to sell you another controller, because now they can get you for the Switch 2, they can get you for the GameCube controller, because you gotta have the OG GameCube controller that connects to your Switch 2 if you're going to be playing these GameCube games on Switch 2. It would be a shame, wouldn't it, to just play them with a nice new nifty Switch 2 Pro controller. Honestly, that'll probably be perfectly fine. But there are a lot of people that will want to relive the glory days of the GameCube, playing titles like Luigi's Mansion 1, Smash Bros. Melee, Monkey Ball, and more with an OG GameCube controller. So I think that this is very, very obvious. This is not a rumor. This is not a hearsay. This is absolutely like an FCC filing with the BEE ID and with the label in this position. So you choose if you want to believe it or not, but I think this is very, very obvious. Now, I will give you sort of one alternate point, which is this the Switch 2 Pro controller? Now, what's interesting about this FCC filing is there's no mention of NFC technology, and we know, based on recent reports, that the Switch 2 Joy-Con have NFC technology. Therefore, it makes a lot of sense that the Switch 2 Pro controller would have NFC technology. The Switch 1 Pro controller does, allowing it to scan Amiibo, And we don't think that they would make a Pro controller that has less features than the included controller. So therefore, if this does not have NFC, this cannot be the Switch 2 Pro controller. So what other controller could Nintendo be making with a label in this position that would be for the Switch 2? If not the Switch 2 Pro controller, what else would it be? I mean, besides some third controller, some elite controller that, again, removes NFC for some odd reason, I think this has to be GameCube. I give this like a 90% chance of being GameCube and of actually being revealed relatively soon. I think the April 2nd Direct is going to be very long, and it is going to be a multifaceted presentation that showcases why the Switch 2 is great from a performance hardware side, why the Switch 2 is great from a games software side, and then why the Switch 2 is great from an NSO online extra functionality subscription side. We know Nintendo has dramatically added resources and attention to the online side of things in the Switch era, and they've made very clear that they continue to do so, and maybe even put more oomph behind it by confirming that the Nintendo Switch account would be transferring over to Switch 2, and that Switch Online is something that is going to continue, and we know that it is something that they've been very proud to build and very excited, very eager to build up that amount of users and that system to be able to hopefully get us to subscribe again on Switch 2. So GameCube Switch 2 looking very likely, especially after last year's controller shipments, now this FCC filing. It does indeed feel like GameCube is coming soon, which is another great thing for Switch 2. New games, new hardware. Oh yeah, and one of your favorite systems of all time where you got to carry it like a lunch pail. In the meantime, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Let me know your take in the comments down below. SwitchForce out.